right, so a little bit of a different ultra training today. Not going to be doing any running. Kind of going back to my roots, aka the name of the channel, Higher Self. Part of that is the double meaning being physically higher, as in getting to the top of a mountain. So today, going to check out the highest peak in the Phoenix metro area. Obviously, it's the Valley of the Sun. We're surrounded by mountains. We've got mountains running through us, and this is Superstition Peak, or Peak 5057. It is, as the name implies, it's 5,057 feet above sea level. And like I said, it's the highest peak in the Phoenix metro area. And I technically haven't tagged it just yet. On my Superstition Ridgeline hike, I went past it. I got real close to it, but I did not officially make it all the way to the top. So today we're going to do that and kind of see what we can do. This particular route we're taking is the South Ascent, and this is considered the most difficult, the most technical version. It's also the shortest distance, but hence why it's a little bit sketchier areas, a little more scrambly, that type of stuff. So anyway, should be a lot of fun, and let's get some views, let's get some climbing, let's get some hiking. Go.
Almost forgot. We're actually going to run into the 1,500-year-old petroglyphs from the ho-ho cams. Now, I actually made a video on the hieroglyphic trail before, so you can watch that entire thing. If you want to see that, this one again, we're going to focus on Peak 5057, aka Superstition Peak, but we'll start by the petroglyphs for a little bit. All right, so this is Future Chris. I wanted to pop in because what you're about to see is the last hike that I did before my brother Matt killed himself. And as you'll find out, I'll pop up a little screenshot here. The red route is the route that I took, which I had a little video of that route. And the green route is what I'm taking right now, just to kind of show a little bit deep in the hieroglyphic canyon right now. And so that was 2 days before he took his life, and it's now a month, a little over a month since then. And so I wanted to get back out here and make it to the summit, because it's important to me to finish things, and it's a way that I can honor my brother and spend a little time with him by hiking in nature, listening to the sounds, enjoying some solitude, and ultimately getting a beautiful view from the highest point in the Phoenix metro area. So that being said, we'll let you get back to the hike. So 1.5 miles into the trek, and pretty much have the trail to myself, which is always a little bit nice. Gonna enjoy a little solitude. Sitting here in Hieroglyphic Canyon, we've got 1,500-year-old petroglyphs that I've been showing that are behind me right now, made by the Hohokam Indians, and pretty sweet little piece of history to kind of hike on past. But what we got to do, hopefully I can point the camera to it, is we're going up towards Balancing Rock, which is the rock that looks like it's just balancing there. Well, hoping I didn't put myself in too bad of a pickle, but this trail, I mean, it is non-existent. It may look like I'm on a trail right now, but according to all trails, I am not. So it's been bushwhacky, it's been scrambly. I've not seen a cairn. You know, when I was reading the beta, if you will, it said that the cairns were sparse, but that they existed. So I'm either off trail this entire time on the ascent here, or they're all gone. Either way, it's a little bit sketchy feeling because, you know, of course I'm not carrying gear for climbing. I'm just kind of scrambling about, and I don't feel like I'm necessarily on the trail. So yeah. So we've got balancing rock right there. I don't know where the best spot to hold the camera to be able to see it is. And I'm not entirely sure here if I'm supposed to just go up this and keep moving, which kind of makes sense from what I can tell, but all trails makes it look like there's some kind of a trail down here that then leads up a little bit, but I don't see, possibly right there maybe, a little bit of a trail, but I don't, obviously I can't see around. Maybe that's an easier scramble up there versus this one directly to my left. Either way, it did say for experienced adventurers, and I don't know if I fit that bill anymore. So you probably could get across the top of the rocks like I was doing. It might be a little sketchy, but there's a path here that you can kind of come along the front face, and then you get to this little scramble section. So I'm not entirely sure how to attack it, but the All Trails line basically goes straight through this. So I got to go up, and it should be fun. Well, I do not know if I'm supposed to keep doing what I'm doing. I think I might be on the right path because I just found this piece of trash, which is both really, really sad to find here in the Superstitions, especially at this cool spot that so few people come to. But on the same hand, it lets me know that people have come here. So theoretically, I'm still on the path. Part of me wants to just keep climbing up because then I'll get a better vantage point, and obviously I am going to the summit, right, which is the highest point on this mountain. So I know I need to go up, but on the same hand, I've got to be mindful. So back over to this spot because I reread the kind of the description of the trail and how to follow it on all trails again, and it talked about coming up and passing between two rocks with a wooden cross. Now it's not a cross, but close enough, right? A wooden stake with a bandana around it. I think that symbolizes the same thing. So definitely a reminder to be cautious, to make sure that I'm being safe and respecting these mountains. But I believe I actually got to go this way, which is what I did before, and I ended up climbing up on this rock. So we'll see what happens, but I was just getting way too sketched out over there, so I figured I'd down climb, make sure I still could down climb safely from where I was at before I proceeded to go any higher, and then kind of explore a little bit more over here. Seen a few other little rock formations like this that could be cairns, or they could just be how rocks naturally settled. So I think we're doing the right thing. Here's our, oh, almost tripped there, our balancing rock. So we're kind of passing by that. Good thing to remember, again, once you're in the hieroglyphic canyon, it's really easy to see the balancing rock if you look northeast. And you'll kind of follow a ridge line up to there, pass through the two rocks again by that wooden stake with the bandana, and kind of stick along the ridge line. There's not really a trail to follow, but it's a little bit of route finding you can kind of make your way. And I think we're doing the right stuff. just about to the summit, but had to take a little bit of a breather. This last mile is a quad killer. I think it's about 1,500 feet of elevation in the last mile, so it's pretty steep. I don't know how well this is doing any justice to it, but kind of came up this bridge over through here. But yeah, legs are hurting, knees are barking. Legs are doing good, feet are doing good. Breaking in the shoes I'm going to be using for the ultra marathon, so figured I'd get a couple miles on them before the actual race, and they seem to be doing good. I love them. I'm really glad I made this choice because my other pair that's just about ready to retire, they are not good on kind of incline situations where I need to have grip. The grip is basically worn off, so they're fine for, you know, relatively flat terrain, trail running, that type of thing. But you know, getting into scrambling and things like that, I didn't feel that safe with them. But these shoes I feel good. So yeah, the only thing I'm a little worried about is trying to make it back the same way I came. Now there's another route I can try to take on the way back that's a little bit longer, maybe a mile and a half longer, but I guess a little bit easier. So I'm probably going to take that on the way back, just because, I mean, it has been better after a few sections, and I'll put in some screenshots of me getting twisted around and everything like that. But yeah, it's bushwhacky, it's route finding. You're off trail. There isn't really a very well marked trail. Cairns are sparse. There's some sections where they're more frequent than others, and it's a little bit easier to navigate. But it is what it is. So anyway, probably enough of a break. So just to point out, the All Trails map is trying to route me like this way, which looks sketchy as all get up, near vertical climbing, whereas the description of the route said follow a decades-old white painted arrow to then lead you around. So I'm pretty sure this is what I want to do, is go this direction and not the direction of the trail. So I figured that was worth noting in case anybody watches this and tries to do this trail themselves. So hopefully the camera will be able to pick this all up. But the question at this point is, which face do I kind of climb up? I think this is my most direct route, but also maybe my sketchiest route. This little corner here, this little nook, that looks easier, but I don't know what I get once I get up top. I'll probably have a little more scrambling to go. I'm not seeing any cairns. Once again, All Trails is directing me like right along the face of the cliff. So I'm pretty sure that's not correct. So yeah, it's see what kind of adventure we could have. It's unfortunate I'm a solo hiker, because if I had anybody with me, it'd be fun to kind of film the various climbing stuff, but obviously for my own safety, I'm not going to be filming it. I'm really disappointed, but I don't know what else to do. I just got down climbing from a real sketchy spot that I put myself in trying to get to the summit. I'm so close. I'm like right there. The All Trails route for the South Ascent stops short of the summit, and it's just right up past these hooters. I know it is, but there's some near vertical climbing with not the greatest of holds, not really good spots to just kind of chill and rest. And I don't know if it's because I haven't been climbing mountains lately, but I'm getting butterflies and I'm feeling real shaky. So I think I'm so close. I don't know if I can explain. I mean, you can see how high up I am, obviously. I mean, I'm probably 100 feet away from the summit, vertical gain, something like that. But the problem is, if I can't get to the summit, I can't take the easier way down either, which means I gotta take the sketchy way I just came up down, which has me not feeling great either. So yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break, try to calm myself down, and hopefully make it down this thing. I'm not going to film the way down. I'm just going to worry about, getting down safely. I mean, I've only been going about a mile an hour. It's taken me, 3.5 hours to go 3.8 miles. Granted, climbing almost 3,000 feet of vertical. So now I got to descend that vertical and hopefully make it back all right. So anyway, I'll touch in just to, obviously if you see this video, I edited it and I'm safe and sound. So, but we'll probably have some final thoughts at the end. Really glad that I made this hike out today. This is the first major hike I've done since my ultra marathon. Not for lack of wanting to, well, in part a lack of wanting to, but a lot of it had to do with overall soreness from the 50K. But there was a significant lack of motivation as well, in part because I wasn't hiking as much as I normally do. And as we know, dopamine isn't about the pursuit of happiness. It's about the happiness of pursuit. And so one of the ways to sort of hijack your dopamine system and to to help yourself out is to literally move towards something physically. And so hiking, obviously you've got a goal. In particular, the types of hikes I do, you're getting to the summit of a mountain, and that's a great goal to be working towards because you get all sorts of other neurochemical gifts when you get to the top. And so because I wasn't hiking, I wasn't getting this dopamine, and I was, feeling a little bit more lethargic because, as we know, dopamine is one of the precursors for epinephrine, aka adrenaline. And so this was all kind of impacting me and hurting my mood more than it already was, because obviously I haven't been in the greatest headspace, losing my brother Matthew to suicide just over a month ago. But one thing I know for sure is I cannot allow myself to entertain the dark thoughts. I cannot play infinite games of torture. The woulda, shoulda, couldas, where I think I could have saved him, or the guilt and shame over ways I wasn't a perfect brother. I've played those games a little bit, but intellectually I know there's no benefit to it. And so I've been trying my best to not fall into those traps. But the thing is when your neurochemistry is off because you're not out hiking like you normally do, and hiking and meditation are my medication. When I'm not taking my medication, I'm significantly impacted by it. And so getting out hiking, doing something difficult, this is going to be a little less than 8-mile hike, about 3,000 feet of elevation gain and loss. It takes resilience, at the beginning of the hike, because it's been so long since I've hiked. I had to kind of psych myself up and talk myself through wanting to call it a little bit early, wanting to turn around. My lungs aren't where they used to be. It feels like my legs aren't as strong as they used to be. And it was harder than I wanted it to be. And so I had the thought of quitting. But I didn't let myself quit, because our brains are interesting in the way that they work. If you quit things all the time, your brain will get really good at quitting. And you'll start getting short-term neurochemical rewards for quitting. On the flip side, if you stick through no matter what, and you finish what you start, your brain is going to neurochemically reward you for that. In turn, what this does is it makes either choice easier the next time. And this is why a lot of people find themselves either somebody who never quits anything or somebody who quits everything. And, my whole life, the majority of my life, I've been a quitter. And when you quit things, you don't accumulate things. You don't amount to things. You don't grow. You don't become. And so, ultimately, in a long and slow path, I've come to these realizations. And I now know to make sure that I get out and hike. And, it was a little bittersweet what I was doing today. I've got my brother's fleece in my pack here. It was much cooler this morning, and so I was wearing that. And I told him I needed his help to get to the top. And I believe he did help me. I haven't had anything particularly noteworthy as far as a sign. I've had some interesting synchronicities since his suicide, but nothing that I would say was, communication directly from him, or nothing that I could be sure was communication from him. But it still feels good to talk to him while I hike and ask him for help, and to just let him know how much he fucked everybody up by taking his life. Because I know he didn't know that. Maybe that's a message I want to throw in here too. If you're thinking about doing the same thing, you don't know, you have no idea what you're going to do to the people you leave behind. I'm debating, I have a couple of videos I recorded where I ended up breaking down, crying, because it was a particularly hard day. And I have mixed feelings on this because, one, I'm not trying to sadness porn anything. But on the other hand, the whole point of me sharing my journey through this grief is to help other people. And I think other people need to know and need to see that it's a roller coaster. That you need to really be proactive if you want to try to keep your head above water. Because it is so easy to sink down. To sink down into darkness. Again, with those should, woulds, coulds, and the guilt and the shame and the infinite ways that we can torture ourselves. Suicide is unique. And within suicide deaths, there's uniqueness. Your relationship, I'm getting myself twisted around here. Maybe I'll just sit for a second. But the relationship to the person that you lost, the circumstances of the loss, all of these things create a unique pain that you have no idea of when you are in the grips of it. And when you make that decision, before doing it, it may seem like you're eliminating pain. But that's not true. What you do instead is you spread that pain to everyone who loves you and who's ever loved you, and even people who've only ever known you. The sadness at my brother's funeral from people who haven't seen him in decades was profound. Please understand that I've been theoretically as low as my brother has. I've attempted to take my own life, and if it wasn't for medical intervention, one time in particular, a hero essentially saving me, I wouldn't be here. I no longer feel that way, although those thoughts do come into my head. But I'm proactive in strengthening myself and gaining tools how to combat those thoughts and those feelings. And I've made a commitment not only to my family, but to myself, that I will never give in to those feelings. So I hope that no matter how dark things may be for you right now, that anything I've had to say resonates with you, and you can find a little bit of strength to hold on for just a little bit longer. And maybe if you can only hold on for just a minute at a time, get out and go for a walk. Maybe go for a hike. Just kind of push yourself. Just put one foot in front of the other. Because sometimes that's all we can do. So as always, I appreciate you stopping by. Hit that like, comment, share. And we'll see you next time. Peace.